Hey, hi Ritvik.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. Could you please on your video?
Yes.
Hey, hi Ritvik.
Yeah, good evening.
Uh, Good evening. Ritvik, firstly, I didn't find any conference room, so if you find any ambience noise, just let me know.
Hmm.
Okay. If it is disturbing, just let me know. Okay.
Oh, so you are in office or home?
I'm in office. That is the reason.
Okay, it's a work from office going on in Dassault.
Yes, it has initiated like 1 week back.
Okay, okay. And what's the job location?
Pune.
Okay, okay.
Um, just a moment. So where are you from?
I am from Delhi.
You're from Delhi. You're currently working from Delhi.
Yeah, actually, I was working for Amdocs Pune, but that was work from home till now.
Okay. Cool. Just a moment. Okay, Ritvik, I just had to inform the HR that we initiated the call. That's the reason the delay.
Hmm.
I'm audible enough?
Yes.
Okay. So let me introduce myself first. Firstly,
Hmm.
so I'm Prasna Kumar. I'm currently working for Dassault for the past 8 months, and prior to that, I worked for Infosys for 6 years.
Hmm.
Overall, I have total of 7 years of experience, mostly on DevOps. Apart from that, I currently working on a couple of I'm part of a central release team.
Hmm.
So whereas I know we take care of GoCD pipelines and Jenkins pipelines and all the stuff.
Hmm.
So currently I'm working some no if you ask me what I'm working currently at this point of time, I'm working on a data migration team where they required creation of a serverless architecture using a Terraform script or CloudFormation. So I picked up Terraform and I'm working on those
Hmm.
scripted right now. So that's my job at here. And apart from that, you have to I handle deployments. I handle the diagnosis of those deployments, all the stuff, and even monitoring the Sumologic cloud structure as well. So that's my job here. I like to know about you. So what
So,
you're
so basically, it's a cloud migration program.
I mean, I'm a part of that. So they're like I'm part of meditator team,
Hmm.
but I can be a handler of other stuff as well.
Okay, okay, got it, got it. So let
Yeah.
me share my experience of Amdocs. I was in a very similar role in Amdocs, that is in Pune only.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I was working on work from home and basically I was on the third party payroll of Surbik Software. So Surbik
Okay.
Software is also in Pune only.
So
So
you're not like from Amdocs. You're like you're work.
Amdocs hired me through the third party.
Okay. Okay.
And
Okay.
Amdocs is hiring 90% through the third party as of now, because in my team 90% of the platform engineers were on the third
So
party only.
prior to that you worked for KMG IT.
Yes, KMG, I was in their payroll only.
Okay. Cool.
So
Yeah. Carry on.
so in cloud migration program, my client was AT&T, American Telephone and Telegraph. So they had 7,000 applications, in which 4,000 were supposed to be migrated to the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
So the contract was distributed between 5 companies. So one was Amdocs, one was Accenture, one was IBM, one was Microsoft, and one was one other random company. So my task was to create the resources for the production environment. Basically, it all started from the ADO onboarding. So there was a team which used to assign us the applications in our bucket. So our team is consist of a lot of pods. So in the pods we had two team leaders, one onshore, one offshore, and 4 to 5 platform engineers. There were DevOps engineer only, one database administrator, one functional tester. So this comprised of one pod. So in Amdocs they work on the pod basis. So I started with the ADO onboarding, which was AT&T proprietary and specific process. So after the feeding of the entries in their portal, we used to get the two types of environments. So one was DevOps prod and one was DevOps non-prod. And after that, the functional tester used to give us the naming conventions. According to that, we used to create the I mean, different types of environment. One was POC, one was non-prod, and one was prod using Terraform. And for the Terraform running, we use Visual Studio Code as our tool. and to pull and push the code from our HVD to the Azure portal, we used Git and those kind of tools. And for the code comparison, we used Beyond Compare. So in total, I migrated 5 applications end to end, and 5 applications I helped during my tenure of 10 months. So, and the target architecture was given by the application team. So according to the target architecture, we had to migrate the applications, and for each application, we had a detailed documentation which was known as the DD. So that was the cloud migration program. Other one was a BSSC project. So BSSC was the internal project, the application of the Amdocs, which was supposed to be migrated to Azure. So on the daily basis, developers used to push their code into the Nexus repository, and our task was to migrate, pull in the bit bucket, and then we had to change the code as per their requirement. And in the morning time, the Word document was given by the QE team. So I was responsible for non-prod environment, and then we used to push the code and manually trigger the Jenkins pipeline, and if any error was coming, so we used to fix that. So that was all about the BSSC project. Previously, I was working with KMG IT services, so soon I joined. So after that, the cloud work was introduced there. Since it was a software development company, so all the random tasks used to come based on the cloud. And other than that, they had clients like Amway and Hughes, so they had also introduced the cloud work. So I used to go there on the deportation basis.
Ritvik, I lost you in between. It seems like your internet issue. Hello.
Please pardon. Okay. Internet.
Hello.
Oh yes. Got. Wait.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm changing my network. Please wait for 2 minutes. Yeah. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah. It is fine.
Yeah. Fine.
Okay.
Still, I can. I'm getting. It's okay. Let's see. Going forward, it's if it works, it works.
Okay. So that was the overall experience. I have 3 years experience in DevOps. So in that way. So in
Okay. I'll do one
KMG,
thing, Ritvik. We're running out of time. We'll do one thing. I will see in your resume you mentioned skills, okay, but you haven't mentioned how proficient or you just have working knowledge and all. So I will do one thing. I will jot down a couple of tools which we required in general DevOps tools. You just rate me on a scale of 1 to 5 how good you are, so that I can paste back questions, or we can walk through our interview based on that.
Okay.
So SCM, you mentioned Git and Git bucket. Okay, how is your Git understanding overall?
I mean, pushing and pulling of the code in, I mean, GitHub.
On a scale of no, on a scale of 1 to 5, just give me a number so that we can take care of that.
3.5 out of 5.
Okay. How is your overall Jenkins understanding, especially on the admin side?
Around 3 out of 5.
So have you installed Jenkins and have you established the executors, the nodes and all the stuff,
Yes.
or you just consume Jenkins as a developer?
Installed Jenkins in KMG because I was supposed to do the deployment. And in
Mm-hmm.
Amdocs, the Jenkins was already present, so I used to manually trigger the Jenkins, and if any error was coming, we used to
Mm-hmm.
fix. And I was not solely responsible for that. If I was stuck and time was running out, so we used to create a bridge, and several engineers used to fix them.
Okay, so how is Ansible and Terraform
So
or
in
any of them?
Terraform, I will rate a 3.5 out of 5 because Terraform I used as a cloud migration program
Mm-hmm.
using code, and in Ansible I've used back in the KMG when I was in KMG. So treat 3 out of 5.
Okay, how is your containerization concepts like Docker and Kubernetes?
So Kubernetes I will rate around 2.5 out of 5 because only troubleshooting part was there because Kubernetes was already deployed there. And
Mm-hmm.
in Docker I will rate 3 out of 5.
Mm-hmm. So you mentioned mountain tools like Nagios, Splunk, and Prometheus, Grafana.
Mhm.
So okay, let's pick one tool. Which one is your like? Let's say Nagios is a good thing, or how is it?
Prometheus and Grafana
Prometheus and Grafana. Okay,
and CloudWatch.
CloudWatch. Okay, CloudWatch. Fine. CloudWatch is like cool. It's not a big deal because the moment you set up the group, it automatically comes up there. So it's not
Mhm.
like we do anything. Like CloudWatch, maybe.
It is generated automatically and
Yeah,
uh,
we won't do much on that, right? Whereas in Prometheus like Grafana, you generate a dashboard out of it, or in
yes.
Splunk you analyze your logs there.
Uh,
In Nagios you set up your infrastructure monitoring.
mm.
So that's the reason I mentioned. Cool. So how good you are in Prometheus? Have you created any dashboards? Have you created any analysis report in there?
So analysis report I have not created, but I have installed Prometheus and the prompt QL commands. I mean, they automatically come in the drop down
Mm-hmm,
menu.
mm-hmm. Okay.
Uh,
How's your shell scripting?
so shell scripting only basic experience because in shell scripting, frankly speaking, if there any complex code was there,
Mm-hmm.
so whole team used to create because back in KMG we used to do, but since it
So
was
I'll take us to okay.
uh, when you create an EC2 instance, there is a user data script now, so we used to create
User
write
data.
around 2 to 4 or 5 lines of code.
Okay, fine, I understand. So apart from shell scripting, do you know any Python scripting or
No, no, no,
any
no,
other?
no, no, no. Python scripting I will learn after I join any company.
Sorry, can you repeat again?
I am planning to. I mean, right now I am giving interviews. I am released from the MDoc. So once I am
So you,
in,
okay,
once I am in any job, so after that I will start learning Python scripting.
fine, fine. So in the overall also cloud concepts.
AWS and Azure.
No, I don't mind. I'm not specifying any provider. I'm talking in general. How is your cloud concepts?
In AWS, I will rate myself as 3.5 out of 5, 3.5 to 4 as a matter of fact.
Okay, when I meant cloud concepts, I mean like what I know. What is vertical scaling? What horizontal scaling?
Uh,
What is those
uh,
concepts? So how well you are?
3.5 out of 5 and
Okay. We'll take it up from here. Okay, then just give me a moment. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Sorry for that. So yeah, we'll take it from here. Okay. So before no, we initiate this technical meeting. Let me I don't know, give a disclaimer that if I on a, during the process of answering, if I cut you down or if I stop you in the middle of your answering, don't take it in the wrong way. I just want to ask number of questions in the same tool so to take a better judgment on that. So okay, let's go forward with this. So before I start this interview, just ask you a very basic question. As per your concepts, what do you understand by CI/CD pipeline?
So CI/CD pipeline is basically the pipeline in which the continuous integration and continuous deployment is done. So by
Mm-hmm.
continuous integration, we mean that developers are pushing their code in the any pipeline. So that is known as the integration, and continuous deployment means the DevOps team or any deployment team is doing the deployments, be it in a sequential manner or parallel manner or automated manual or
Okay, as per you, what is the end point, no, product of a CI pipeline?
product of
Yeah, what would be the end product of an CI pipeline?
deployment.
So, so usually you'll have a sort of an artifact or an image, right? So
Yes.
in the CI pipeline, yeah. So in CD concepts, we have these two different concepts like continuous delivery and continuous deployment. May I know the difference between these two?
So continuous deployment means the deployment part which is done on the server side, and continuous delivery is something which is the end user or the client based. So the delivery is more of the client based and the customers, and the deployment is done on the server side.
Okay. Okay, let's say you've been in this my team, in the central release team, and one of the product manager comes to you and asks you that, hey, we already have a CI/CD pipeline, and you wanted to introduce continuous testing and continuous quality control. So, as per you, where these two modules will come in picture in CI/CD pipeline?
Jenkins.
I'm not asking a tool, sir.
Oh,
I'm asking in a module, in a CI/CD module. How will you introduce this continuous testing? Like in
on the second and fourth part it will come. So first will be build, second will be the unit testing, third will be the deploy, and fourth one will be the automation testing. I mean,
where, where will be put the quality control then? Code quality control, like let's say by using a tool called SonarQube.
SonarQube I have not used, but
No, I'm just saying, let's say that could be any tool, like, where you can check the code quality.
just one step before the deployment. Basically, QA and the testing part, we will have to first get in touch with the testing team, because testing side I don't have much experience. So basic terminology we will have to get in touch with them.
Okay, let's go into Git now. May I know what your things you worked on, especially on the CLI part?
In AWS CLI and
No. I'm talking about Git Bash.
so Git Bash basically pushing and pulling of the code from HVD to Azure.
So just git pull, like git clone or git push. So those commands. You haven't worked any git merge or git conflicts, anything like that.
Yes, I have worked in back in KMG. So those are branching concepts.
So can you explain your git flow or git structure you have at this point of time in your organization?
So Git flow is basically when a developer is wants to push any code, so he will push, and if any developer wants to pull the code for the, I mean, for his task to be, I mean, if
Can you explain me the branching structure you have?
no, not that much. Back I was using that in back in KMG. So there were
Whatever, but I like to know whether you used to have that branching system at this point of time.
so in
So,
branching you can write individual questions, uh, because
sorry?
I was using branching concept back in 1 year. So in general, I know what is branching and what are their commands.
Okay, if you know what are the commands, okay, I'll give you one scenario then. try to do by your own. Okay, so you've been introduced to one team, and the team already have a huge repository. Okay, they have like 7 or 8 branches. So you want to deploy, you want, and for you they have created another branch. Okay, let's say DevOps branch, and you are asked to deploy only, you are asked to clone only that branch. How do you do so? You don't have to download all other feature branches. Only you have to download only your branch, your DevOps branch. How do you do so?
Yeah, so I was working in one of the POC branch, so in Amdocs only. So we will take the particular URL of that branch only, and then pull, and then work individually on
There,
that branch.
see, first of all, there is no individual URL for individual branches. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, there is no such concept like if you know Git is a distributed system, it doesn't mean that each branch has each unique instance. Okay, each branch is a global cloning. Okay, so it is a distributed system for that sake.
Okay, but as far as I remember, there a POC was created in the separate branch, so I had pulled it directly.
Okay, cool. So directly in then how you pull directly then?
I went to the Azure portal and I went to the drop down menu and selected POC, and then directly pulled that repository in my HVD, and
Okay,
then changed the code and pushed it back.
okay, okay. Let's say you're working on that branch, okay, and one of your on a certain file, let's say an Ansible playbook, and one of your colleague also working the same branch and same file. He already done his changes. You push the changes into the remote repository, and you're working on the same file, and you try to push it, and you are getting some issues. So you for that you're supposed to use git pull to make sure that your local copy is updated to the remote repository. Okay,
Yes.
but if you do so, you lose your changes because the changes will be merged into the local system. So how do you avoid saying not losing your changes, but also updating your local copy?
On base command, we will use the git rebase --- continue concept for this.
Sorry, can I repeat again?
Git rebase concept we will use for this.
Git rebase.
Yeah, if there is any merging related issue, so we use git rebase.
We are not merging anything. You're currently actually fetching some data to your local copy, right? I didn't ask you to merge into another branch or to replace anything. I'm asking to you're working the same branch and same file which you and your colleague also working on the same with. The thing, the conflict here is that when you're trying to push it, Git is saying that hey, your copy is actually one commit behind, and your your colleague is already updated in the remote repository. So typically you'll do git pull.
Yes, I will do git pull.
So if you do git pull, all the changes which is done by your remote, your colleague will be come and sit in your local copy, right?
Yes.
But you lose the changes also well.
So I lose the changes, but the updates which he has done has to be. The work he is doing.
Do you know what is git stash?
Yes, I know what is git stash. Git stash is basically if let's say I am working on project A, and if somebody comes to me and asks me to simultaneously work on group B, so I cannot leave those changes. So
see, I don't want an example, sir. I want see, this is when I know that you're giving some Google answer on this thing. I know this same thing you're saying, but I'm trying to ask you the same question before also. You're working on a file, and one of your friends is working the same file. You are pulling into their local server. You can use git stash there, right?
Okay, so git stash creates a local copy, and if we want to go back, we use git stash pop. Basically, the scenario you gave me, na. So in my cloud migration program, everybody was used to make the same code. So if I am working in the daytime and another person is working in the night time, so git pull, where we used to do the git pull.
What kind of git merge conflicts you involved in, and how do you resolve any git merge conflicts?
So git merge occurs basically when two people are working simultaneously on the same file, and if we want merge both at the same time, so git merge conflict occurs. So either somebody has to do the git pull to update, or use the git rebase -f continue to
What's the difference between git rebase and git merge?
So one git rebase will do the changes along with all the HT, and the git merge will merge the changes without the HT. So if we are
Sorry, can you repeat again?
Git rebase command, what it does is it merges the code along with the HT, and the git the other was git merge will merge the two branches without the HT.
I'm sorry, it's okay. What is the difference between git revert and git reset?
One is done after the commit, and one is done after the git add. Git push.
Can you please repeat again? What is one and what is the other one?
So after commit, we cannot change. So I think
what is the fundamental function of git revert or git reset? What they'll do actually?
If we have committed any changes, and if we want to go to the previous version, and if we have committed the changes just by mistake,
so both fundamental they do undo, right?
Undo. Yeah. One is after the commit, and one is before the commit.
What is after which one will do after commit?
As far as I remember, I have not used those commands recently. So as far as my memory is there, git revert will do after the commit, and git reset will do before the commit. I will have to see again, but right now exactly I don't remember.
Okay, let's jump into Terraform. Okay. So in the Terraform, I let you know what you have done it.
Migration of
what kind of resources you have used it, or have you done it in AWS or in Azure?
No, Terraform I used individually in my HBD and created resources for the production environment.
But what kind of provider you used it?
Azure.
Yeah, Azure one. Okay. So in the Azure, so what kind of can I explain the actual structure what you have created using Terraform?
Yes. So we used to pull the skeleton code from our golden images, which was given in Azure 00 repository. For functional tester, used to give us the naming conventions. So using those naming conventions, we used to create the code as for the production environment, and AT&T had given all the naming conventions, and we had a separate file for separate resources. Let's say I want to deploy the load balancer, so we had a
let's say you have created this Terraform scripts, okay, and your friend also working on the same code, okay. So you have how you maintain the state, both of you and your colleague, because Terraform maintains a state file, right?
So state files are used in the blob containers.
Sorry?
State files are used in the blob containers.
What containers? Blob containers.
Yes.
Okay. So what if both of you are trying to apply at the same time? What happens in that case then?
Simultaneously, we never.
No, not in general. In general, what is two resources try to apply on the same Terraform script? How the locking system happens? Or does we have to manually set up a locking system, or the Terraform provides some sort of a locking system? Because both are trying to manipulate the resource, right?
Yes. Terraform state locking I have not worked till now, and I didn't face this kind of issue. But the Terraform state locking is there when the state is.
Let's say your requirement is that some resources are used on a version of 3.3, and some resources are used on and above 3.3, or like something say. So few resources are working on version 3, and so few resources are working on version 4. Okay, your Terraform resources I'm talking about. So how do you set up saying that going forward nobody downloads a provisioner which is less than 3 version 3? How you set up this thing? You understand my question, right? Or should I rephrase it?
I mean, the version is of the Terraform or the application of which we are
No,
creating.
the provisioners. So you use a provisioner called Azure, right? Let's
Oh.
say Terraform provisioner Azure, which generally are currently working on 4.4 version, right? That is the latest version.
Mhm.
But you're using you are developing for the last 1 year, which is like, let's say the older version about 3.3. Okay, so these are like in the 4.4 they are like they kind of went into deprecated state. Okay, but your code is already working on this and you already maintain the state of it. So going how you maintain how you make sure in the Terraform saying that whoever uses this thing should not change that version from 3.4 to 4.4, or whoever use it has to use certain level above 3.4 only, not below 3.4.
Regarding updation, this kind of thing I never used. And
Okay, fine.
regarding the updation in Visual Studio Code, HashiCorp configuration language used to take the updates automatically.
Have you worked on Azure Functions? Have you created any serverless features in Azure
No.
using Terraform? No. Okay. Okay. What kind of Terraform provisioners you worked on?
Azure.
I'm sorry, not provisioners. Uh, okay. If I have to transfer a file from my local system to Azure resource using a Terraform script, how do you do so?
So in AWS, I have used WinSCP or FileZilla, but using Terraform, I have not migrated any file.
Okay. Cool. Have,
Uh,
okay. Yeah. Let's move to Ansible now.
mhm.
Okay, before I go to Ansible, I want to you work apart from Jenkins, any other tool you worked on in the CI?
Can you give some names?
I mean, you worked on
No.
apart
Uh,
from Jenkins, you haven't worked on any other CI tools.
no.
Let's say like GitLab CI or Travis CI, any of such tools.
No. Jenkins only.
Only Jenkins. Okay. Okay. In Jenkins, let's say uh, okay, you have configured Jenkins and you have enabled this automation this no authentication, authentication. I mean this thing. So in your current organization, how your authentication happens? So what sort of authentication? Are you using any AD plugin or how are you using any Azure plugins? How your
No.
authentication happens in SSO?
So in BSSC project, I was using Jenkins, so I had a user ID and the password only, and those were given by the admin team.
So you haven't done any administrative task compared like creating a resource or creating a group of it?
No, no.
No. Okay. Okay, let's say you're running a job. Okay, you're running a job which consists of couple of stages inside it, and you notice that one of the stages keeps on failing it, and you notice that you don't have to run the entire job again, but you want to run only that stage right from the other stage. So how do you do so? Hello.
Yeah, I'm hearing. I have done that.
Mhm. We have this a certain pipeline. We have a couple of jobs. Inside couple of jobs, we have several stages.
Oh.
So when you're running on a stage, you notice that only one stage keeps on failing, but it doesn't matter anymore. So you have done at the back end, you have done some changes, and you have to run only exactly from that stage. How do you do so? There's an option in Jenkins, right, that we can select certain things and we can actually run from that exactly that stage onwards inside the job.
Yes, I have done in BSSC project, but I am not able to recollect.
Okay.
Yes, there is one option, but I am not able to recollect.
Okay, okay, you tell me what your things you have done it then
In
in
Jenkins.
Jenkins. Yeah.
So in Jenkins, back in KMG, I had installed on the particular.
What about an MDocs? There is no Jenkins. Or what is the CA tool they used in?
So in cloud migration program, no CI was used. That was only a hardcore cloud migration program.
Mm-hmm.
And after that all the installations were done by the respective administrators. So let's say if there is any Linux configuration has to be done, so my task was to create all the resources along with the VM and hand over it to the particular administrator. Regarding Jenkins and PSSC project, the all the manually all the Jenkins pipeline were triggered manually only.
Okay. So, so have you created the pipeline in Jenkins, or have you worked on a multi-branch pipeline?
Multi-branch pipeline means in parallel.
No, 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 no. Multi-branch pipeline. There's a like freestyle project pipeline. There is a single branch pipeline. There's a multi-branch pipeline, right? In Jenkins,
No, no, in freestyle project I have worked.
you only worked on freestyle. Okay, fine, fine. Okay, let's move to Ansible. Okay, in Ansible, I like to know what you have worked on. Hello.
Yeah, I'm listening. So Ansible I have not used for the production, but
Mhm.
I have all knowledge I have.
So you haven't created any playbook.
I mean, I have created on my own, not for the production level.
You have done your own POC, but you haven't done any,
On
deployment.
production level, there was no task.
Okay, let me ask you one question. Okay, you have a playbook, okay, and you
Mm.
have 5 tasks inside it, and you have to run first 5 tasks in local host, and the rest to dinner in a different remote host. How do you do so?
So for this, we will in the playbook we will define some logic like there are 5 tasks. So, we will create task 1 to 2, task 5 to be assigned in the local, and in basically it is written by YAML. So we will put is equals to, and then some add parameters for the. I have not done that. I am trying
Mm.
to tell you on my own logic. Well,
Okay, okay,
so
okay. Let's say you're running a shell command. Okay, you want to whatever the output has come, you need to store that in a variable. How do you do in Ansible that?
So variables are stored in general using dollar sign, but in Ansible I have not stored any shell variable.
Do you know what is registry in Ansible?
Yes, a registry is something where all the configurations are stored. So I think in inventory file we have all the.
Okay, fine. Um, See, I'm sorry to say, but Ansible, it's you're coming with a very generic answers. Okay, that registry is not in something called configuration, no config file, something like that. The registry is a where you actually store the output of a command. Okay,
Okay.
uh, cool. Okay, let's say one last question, Ansible. Okay, let's say you know that Ansible runs all the tasks in a sequential manner.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
uh, what if you want to run it in a no, without any synchronization? Have
In,
to run everything in parallel. How do you do?
mm,
Okay,
not done.
let's say the same playbook which has 5 tasks, and now one of the third task keep on failing. Okay, you notice that even if it fails, it doesn't reflect the task 4 and task 5. So how do you bypass that failure and go to the other task 4 and task 5 in Ansible? Idea?
No, this also I'm not faced.
Okay, let's go to containerization concepts. Okay, so in Docker and Kubernetes, by any chance have you written any Docker file, or have you worked on have you got through any have you seen any Docker files, and do you know any best practices out of it?
Yes, so best practices are that always use the least number of lines for the clarity. Second is that if you require the multiple commands, so always use multiple staging files. The third best practice is to
Sorry, can you repeat again?
so if there is a requirement, use multi-stage file, Docker file.
What is requirement? What is multi-stage file?
So multi-stage file is the file in which we run the multiple commands. So let's say if we want
One
to.
second, one second, one second. Just hold on.
Hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry, I lost internet in between. I can you repeat the Dockerfile question, please? What is multi-staging Dockerfile?
So multi-staging Docker file is the file in which we use the multiple commands. So let's say we are using multiple runs and multiple copy and multiple add. So those are
That is multiple staging.
multi-staging file. And if the commands which are changed the most should be kept at the bottom. So these are some best practices for the Docker.
What? Okay. What if I have multiple CMD commands? What happens in that case?
In multiple CMD command, the command line parameters are ignored by the daemon.
Sorry.
In multiple CMD commands, the command line parameters are ignored by the daemon.
Let's say in one CMD command says that listing out some folder, and the next CMD command does make directory of it. So, do you think both will be executed by Dockerfile?
No.
Which one will executed?
Last one.
But may I know the reason why?
Because the command line has a feature to, the command line parameters are ignored in the command line. That's its property.
Okay. What if I have multiple run commands?
So,
huh? What happens to the Dockerfile when I have multiple run commands?
So in multi-staging file, I have not created a multi-staging file, but as per my logic, the commands will run one after the
other. So will it increase the size of the image if I have multiple run commands? And out of these run commands, let's say if I have to create an alpha image, how do you do so?
Which image?
Alpha image.
No. That level I have not worked. I mean, Alpine is an application or what?
Okay, what's the difference between add command and add instruction and a copy instruction?
Copy is if you are copying from a local repository or any directory, and add command you can download it from the internet also.
That is the only difference?
That difference I know. There might be several other differences.
Okay. What's the default network in Docker, and what are the networks we have in Docker?
So the default is the overlay, and we have bridge. Bridge.
Okay.
And the default network is 172.17, and there are 5 types of network. One is bridge, host, none, overlay, Macmillan.
So can I explain me the host network?
So host in host network, the Docker uses host network. Bridge, it creates its own network. In overlay, it uses the network to communicate between the different containers. In Macmillan, it is used to attach the MAC address.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry. You said overlay as something.
No. Bridge is the default.
Yeah, the bridge is the default. I want the difference between this bridge and the host.
So the bridge is the network which is Docker creates for it.
Yeah. What it actually does. I know there's a default network. I want to know what is the major difference between a host network and a bridge network and an overlay network. There's a slight differences between these three.
Yes, there is a difference. In overlay network is used to communicate between the containers only, and bridge is used to work.
Which among these three which actually have the access to public? So public can actually access this kind of via this network. Is it bridge? Is it overlay? Is it host? Is it none? Which one it is?
I think host.
Have you worked through on this networking side, or how is it?
No, I used default only. In networking, on my own I never changed anything.
Okay. One last question, Docker. Okay, it's a very simple question. Just a command based. If you remember, just tell me. Okay, if I have to remove the all tangling images and all unused volume assignees and any stopped containers at the one go. Okay, not like individually. Okay, in the one go, I want to clear everything. Let's say post cleanup activity. So how do you do?
So there is a command in which first of all we have to write the Docker. I mean, I don't remember exact command, but there is a dollar sign, and after that in bracket we use if we want to remove all the images, so RMI, and after that -a -q. So there are 3 to 4 commands.
I'm not just saying only images. I'm just saying I want to clear all the stopped containers. I want to remove all the dangling images.
Prune.
All the unused volumes. What prune?
I mean, Docker prune images and containers and whatever stuff you want to prune.
Okay. Let's go to Kubernetes. Okay. So have you used Kubernetes as an administrator or a
No,
developer?
not as an administrator. I have only basic knowledge of Kubernetes.
So basic knowledge means
Basic knowledge means I mean all the Kubernetes structure.
so what's the difference between Kubernetes deployment YAML resource and replica set?
Please pardon.
Kubernetes replica set and the Kubernetes deployment YAML. So these are two different kinds, right? One is replica set and one is deployment.
Replica set is something with how many replicas we want to create. I mean the nodes, and the other one was YAML.
Deployment kind. There are two kinds, right? The
Yes.
YAML file you mentioned to the kind, right? You have
So
at the
YAML
top
is something in which we read all the configurations.
no, sir. Listen, I'm saying in the YAML files, you write the kind, right? The kind as replica and the kind as deployment. So I want to know the difference between this replica and deployment
So
kinds.
if we are doing the deployment, so the
Have you written this YAML files and then deployed using kubectl?
yeah, I have deployed, but I used replica set only. Deployments I have not used.
You haven't used deployment.
I mean,
What is the default deployment strategy in Kubernetes?
default deployment
Strategy.
means I didn't get the question.
Deployment strategy. See, these deployments or replica sets, they deploy using the pod template, right? And they create pods. They deploy pods.
Okay.
So that
So
is
the pod structure you was asking. So at the top level we have the cluster. Inside the cluster we have the nodes.
No, I'm not asking the pod structure. I'm asking the deployment strategy. So will it be rolling update, or will it be recreate, or will it be canary, or blue green? These are all deployment strategies, right?
So I think rolling updates is because blue green is the, I mean, if one goes down another goes up. So blue green is not rolling updates.
What is rolling update? What actually happens in the rolling update?
So rolling update is that
Let's say you already have a cluster of 5 pods, okay, and you updated the image, you updated the version inside that. Let's say those pods consist of Nginx, okay. The version, let's say 1.1, and now you are using deployment YAML file. You do updated that script to version to 3.2 or something like that. So as you mentioned, the default strategy will be rolling update, right? So what exactly happens to the pods which are existing pods?
So those will update the I mean,
how will it be updated?
What is going on at the back end I don't know, but if we do the YAML changes, so those will reflect in the pods.
How man? And will it be deleted, or it will be create new one? This is I'm not asking at the behind the hood how it happens. I'm asking what exactly, if you see, like kubectl describe, or these things. Okay, fine, cool. What is daemon set in Kubernetes?
So daemon sets are basically the engines which run all the I mean the entire Kubernetes.
Sorry?
In generic terms, daemon is an engine which runs.
No, I'm asking daemon set. There's a certain kind daemon set in
Mm,
Kubernetes. No idea.
no, actually, I'm unable to recollect now.
Okay, cool. I think um, I think I'm good. With Vic.
Hmm.
I think. Would you like to ask any questions to me
No,
before ending this? No questions.
no.
Cool. Cool. Thank you. I'll inform the HR
Hmm.
and have a good day.
Okay, thank you.
Congrats for the. I mean, you will for the next interviews. Good luck with the next interviews. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.
अच्छा इंटरव्यू था वो।